My name is Gasper and I'm Developer Relations Lead at Oasis Network. Today I'm going to show you how Fontaine Protocol works. So Fontaine Protocol is a non-custodial liquidity market protocol which was built on Oasis Network. Basically, it's the first cross-chain lending platform powered by Oasis. So you can have one-stop management of your DeFi assets, if you want to name it like that, because it's extremely efficient and low cost because it's using Oasis Network, right? So Fontaine Protocol will actually establish a multi-revenue protocol with a fund pool as the core in multiple application scenarios. So we will see how you can actually supply and how you can maybe borrow against your assets, right? So you can earn some passive income if you want, right? So if you go to ftp.cash, this webpage will show up. So that's actually Fontaine Protocol, and you can launch the app with clicking launch the app or just entering the app on the top right corner, right? So let's enter the app. First thing that you will have to do is connect your wallet to this dApp, right? So I will be using my MetaMask. You have other options, but I'm using my MetaMask. So keep in mind that you have to be connected to Emerald mainnet. So I'm using Emerald mainnet as my network. And then when you will connect to this dApp, you will see your status, how many rows you have, your address, and so on, right? So first of all, you have markets. Basically, that's a dashboard where you can actually supply or even borrow against your assets. So first, what I will show you is actually how to use your rows to supply and earn yield on these assets, right? So I can say save max. That's what the protocol will automatically suggest. But if you don't want to supply like 90% of your assets, please go and do it, let's say 25, 50%. Okay, so I will supply 50% of my assets to earn some yield, right? So if I click supply, let's see what happens, right? So I will have to confirm this transaction. So I want to supply now my rows. Confirming, waiting for block. Okay. And if you want, you can check it on Explorer so you can see the transaction status, if it's already successfully finished and so on, right? So here I am, the successful transaction was completed. And now what I should see is my supplied assets, right? So there is rows that I can also use as a collateral. So just give me a second. So what we done, we actually provided 42.45 blah blah blah, right, rows, which is essentially only a few dollars, right? But for a demo, that's enough. So my assets from now on were lended out, or let's say I supplied them, and that's why I'm receiving this APR, right? So annual percentage rate is approximately at this time 2.55%, right? On my assets, right? Now, if you have a larger amount, right, you would like maybe to borrow against these assets, right? So you can say use Oasis rows as collateral, right? So you will have to confirm again the transaction to be able to use that as collateral, right? So I'm again now waiting for transaction to be successfully completed, and once it's completed, I can start borrowing against my supplied rows, right? Now, of course, rows is not the only asset that you can supply. We will see that if we go back to supply and if you choose something else than rows, right? So we have wrapped ETH, we have USDT, USDC, right? Keep in mind that these are assets on Emerald network, so on Oasis network, right? If you have other assets, maybe I have some USDC, no. Maybe I have some RepDipTH, no. Okay, so basically what they already have, you can supply. If you go to borrow, now since I enabled that my rows can be used as collateral, I can actually borrow some, right? So you see, I supplied 46 or what was the number, and now I can actually borrow against these assets. And you see the 80% is the limit, which means that's the amount of rows I can borrow, right? So that's pretty cool. So the protocol is pretty simple, it works smoothly. And if I do that, let me just borrow, let's say 25%, borrow. I have to confirm again, transaction again. So you see the gas fees are very low and it's pretty fast, right? So yeah, pretty cool. Now since I'm borrowing, I think I borrowed what, 6.36, right? Let's say rows. Now you see, I borrowed my rows, right? So now I added this 6 point something rows to my existing assets. So you see, before it was 42, now it's 48. Now the point here, when you borrow, you will actually have to pay some APR, or sometimes there are also negative or even positive numbers. So always take care what the numbers are, right? So you see, annualized projected cost of borrowing, right? So keep that in mind when you will repay back and so on, right? So you have a repay button to repay that. So let's say I will do the repay. Cool, I will do it immediately, so I don't pay a lot of interest on my borrowed assets. So I will just close that. So I just wanted to make sure that I don't owe anything back to Fontaine, right? So now you will see I should divide that 6 point something. You see, now it's 42. And that's how the supply and borrow works, right? Now, we were on a classic mode. What that means, it means we have a single asset, and here the APIs or APRs typically are a bit lower. Now, if you go to LP, it's a liquidity pool, or let's say LP token, which means that you can earn even more, right? So, with other words, you can actually go to rewards, and first of all, just follow your earned rewards on your supplied assets, and you will see the rewards are paid out in FTP token, so in Fontaine protocol token, right? Now you can claim rewards and so on, and then maybe use them to utilize even more assets, and then you will find another useful a rewards program, let's say like that, if you provide FTP rows liquidity, right? So if you provide a pair, let's say FTP rows pair, you will get APR, which is like crazy, like, right? So 185%, right? So how to do that, right? You can either, let's say, farm, or let's say receive these rewards first, and then create this liquidity, or just go to farm on Yuzu if you have, of course, any FTP. So I click go to farm, and then you can just provide, so you can stake this liquidity, or let's say LP token, right? And you will earn double rewards, so user rewards and Fontaine, so and FTP rewards. So that's pretty crazy. It's like double farming, so it's called dual farming.